Thanks very much, Eric. It's actually pretty great being here. This is the third January in a row that I've been here. The first presentation on Antino at a MIF conference was the stock was halted as part of the acquisition, and we hadn't even really gotten boots on the ground or gotten rolling. But last year was a pretty nice update with some big early discoveries, and then we've had quite a lot of success this year and been able to see not just the upper Antino stuff grow, but see quite a lot of growth in terms of new discoveries, testing things that had seen some historic work but really needed to be fleshed out, and then most recently making some brand new further afield discoveries of our own. So for those of you who maybe don't know, Antino is located in Suriname, it's northwest corner of South America. We're in the heart of the Guyana Shield. Big names out of there would be, recent Reunion Gold with the Oko West deposit, G2. We're right in the middle of the Guyana Shield, and this is a pretty prolific belt, and there's been a lot of attention on it recently with the size of the gold deposits that have been discovered and coming out of there. Suriname itself is really a gold-focused economy, two major producing assets or mines in the area. We've got Newmont there with the Marion mine, almost 10 years of production, and Zijin recently acquired the Rosebel mine, which is almost 20 years of continuous production. So we're located down in the southeast corner. We've got a 200 square kilometer land package right now. It's fully permitted for all of the exploration work that we want to do, and we've done, starting in 2023, we did about 10,000 meters of drilling and 43,000 meters, or just over last year. And as Eric mentioned, we're on track with plans to do 60,000 meters this year. That 60,000 meters is going to be done with our own drills. So much like Almendex, strong believer in having our own equipment on the ground, our own drill crews. And really at this point, with 4 drills operating, a couple more on the way, we're in a really good position to keep production rolling and the news that comes along with that. It does a very good job of keeping costs low. We're consistently under $200 all in per drill meter. And that means that we can, as we have done, continue delivering a lot of value. We put a lot of dollars in the ground, and it's certainly shown. In terms of big ticket items, a big one was bringing on B2 Gold here last fall as part of recent financing. Bringing them onto the roster, I think certainly demonstrates that there's a lot of interest in not just the area, but also in Antino itself, and it's great having them as part of the company. So, just jump forward. Quick corporate snapshot: 88 million shares outstanding. Got about $30 million in cash, so fully funded for that 2024 or 2025, 60,000 meters, and then some moving into 2026 or the future. Warrants there, 5.7 million outstanding. They all expire at the end of next month, so we'll have a clean sheet after that with another around $3.5 million coming in from those. In terms of the shareholder base, management still holds a little over 10%. Big shareholders, 1832 or Scotiabank. They've got 16% between a couple of funds right now, and got into the story very, very early. We added BlackRock to the roster in May of last year as a 9.9% owner. And then I just mentioned the addition of B2 most recently. There's been some good analyst coverage to date, but last year was a very, very busy year on the ground. We had a lot of investors down there. We had a lot of analysts, and I expect to see quite a bit more coverage coming out here in the near future. So it has been, as Eric says, it's been a couple of years of pretty consistent, pretty steady growth, and I'm really happy with how things have progressed and how our chart has really reflected the continued results. It really is a product of results. And I expect that with what we see on the ground and with some of the new discoveries we've made recently that we hopefully continue to see that. But thinking about the last couple of years, 2023, it was 10,000 meters, really spending a lot of time understanding the deposit. 2024 here has been taking that understanding, continuing to test, continuing to push the boundaries of the known deposit areas, the known areas, and then finding some new things. And most recently, our discovery at a zone called Da Vinci, and I'll show you where that is. That was the first time that we had stepped fully out of that historic work on the ground, taken all of the criteria that we've come to understand reflects mineralization on the property, and using that criteria made a pretty significant discovery from drill hole number 1. So we see a lot of that coming forward. Completed the first stage of our option agreement, so 51%, and well on track to the stage 2 of that, and successfully raised a little over $42 million whilst keeping this share structure very, very tight. Last but not least, the team grew considerably as well. We added a couple of excellent people to the management team, Katie McKenzie and Natalie Sanger, and then most recently we added Chris Taylor to the board as well. And having him down in December on a site visit and going through things, it was a lot of help, I think, getting his perspective on things. So just a quick, I really like this map. This is honestly my favorite view of the whole property. So this is 200 square kilometer land package. And all of these areas that we've got circled are targets that, based on the historic auger anomaly work or historic drilling work, that we focused on. So most of our focus to date has been on this Upper Antino area. And I'd say up until the middle part of last year, it was really Upper Antino and the growth to now 1.6 kilometers of gold mineralization along strike. We're down to 265 meters depth and almost 400 meters across strike. That's where people were kind of focused. Towards the middle of last year, we started really getting people's attention on the rest of the property with some excellent early surface results further afield, but then some drilling. The next one was at Bueze. Down there, we were chasing a bit of a different target, and very successful first phase of drilling with 78 meters of 2.35 grams per ton, 20 meters of 7.65. Some fantastic results early on, and we presently have a drill working there right now. Lower Antino was next, and was a great early discovery, with our third hole giving us over 80 meters of a gram and some of the most continuous, consistent mineralization to date on the project. And then most recently is that Da Vinci piece, which I'll show in a second. What we really see is, and put together, is that trend, that northwest trend. It's really developed, and what we're starting to see and starting to put together for 2025 is that we've got a lot of exploration upside in these and potential for subparallel mineralization and targets, and that's going to be the focus of this year. We're really looking to grow or expand what what's already there, see continued growth along strike, etc. But then we see 10 or 12 more of these targets like Da Vinci that we're going to get a drill on, and there'll be a lot of opportunity for some brand new discoveries over and above the ones that we've already identified. And that starts to come together. I drew this circle down here because we actually have a drill that's just started drilling a couple days ago on that, with, again, those same sort of characteristics that we've put together in Upper Antino, what has become kind of our natural laboratory. Additionally, we are starting to connect dots out here between Lawa and the Parbo area, and we think between these, putting them all together, there's a lot of opportunity for brand new things, and it's those new discoveries on this property that really represent the main catalyst for 2025. Don't have a lot of time, so I'll just quickly spin this around, give you a sense of what that looks like on the ground. So here's our camp, capacity now for 150 people on site, 1.3 kilometer airstrip, which has really helped from day one. Upper Antino is this Froyo donut piece sitting in a large fold here, and we see these subparallel or parallel shears all the way through, and now looking at over 1.6 kilometers of strike there with additional mineralization on the limb on the other side. If I spin that around, really where we're heading is down to the south. So we want to connect Bueze and Upper Antino, and we see a lot of opportunity to do that. Lawa as well is an early stage target, but one of the favorites of our geologists on the ground. Represents a pretty big opportunity for some intrusion-hosted, bulk tonnage mineralization, and we expect to have a drill on that in April timeframe. And then Lower Antino has also been, one of our very recent successes. Da Vinci is the most recent one, and just quickly going to that, going here, we were using all the criteria that we've just put together at Upper Antino to identify find this as a target, and then get down there. And from the first drill hole, 28 meters of 1.3, effectively from surface, was a great first hit, and all of the holes out of that have been pretty exciting. So I'm running out of time here, so I'm just going to kind of touch on the big picture going forward. So, and our news flow this year is going to be really focused on drill results. The 4 rigs turning 5,000 to 6,000 meters a month, and results from the things that we understand, know and understand, seeing those grow, but also we've got nearly a dozen targets that meet the same criteria as Upper Antino. Goals, really increasing land package is another big one. We expect to see some movement on that in the near future. And then additionally, we've been moving through the second option stage here in the first half of this year and looking at moving towards 100% ownership of the property. So expect lots of news, lots of drill results, and yeah, we'll leave it there.